There comes a time in a person's life when the noise fades, when the hands that once held the world steady start to tremble, and when the ones you raised with sleepless nights and bent backs now walk past you like strangers. It's a hard thing, this silence from your own blood. It's a storm in the heart, quiet but shattering. But listen, don't raise your voice. Don't let bitterness stain your soul. Stay calm, because your worth was never dependent on their words. You carried them before they could walk. You fed them before they could ask. You loved them before they even knew what love was. That cannot be erased by ignorance or disrespect. Their actions may speak loud, but they do not speak truth. Stay calm, not because you're weak, but because you are the mountain that doesn't tremble at every passing wind. You've earned your peace. Don't let their silence rob it from you. Old age is not a curse. It's the crown of time, proof that you've lived, endured, and given more than you ever took. When they ignore you, remember you once gave them your full attention. When they disrespect you, recall the days you shielded them from disrespect. Their forgetfulness doesn't make your sacrifices invisible. Their distance doesn't mean your love was in vain. Sit with grace. Wear your wisdom like armor. The ones who truly carry your blood in their hearts, they will remember. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day they'll look back and realize the roots they ignored were the ones that held them up. So, hold steady. Speak softly or not at all. Let your silence remind them that even without their applause, you remain whole. You are the river that kept flowing even when no one noticed the water. Stay calm and collected when disrespected or ignored. Your dignity is not up for negotiation. When the ones you once held with trembling hands now act as if you are invisible, as if your presence in the room is no more than a passing shadow, your heart might cry out. You may want to speak, to demand recognition, to ask, did you forget who bathed you in love? Did you forget whose hands fed you, clothed you, fought for you? But in that very moment, the greatest strength lies not in raising your voice, but in keeping it still. You see, calmness isn't weakness. It is the elegance of a soul that has walked through fire and come out gold. It is the power of knowing who you are beyond the way others treat you. When your own children forget the weight of your sacrifices, the long nights, the dreams you buried so theirs could rise, that forgetfulness does not diminish you. It only exposes their blindness. You don't need to match disrespect with anger. That's not your place. You've lived long enough to know that storms pass and the loudest waves eventually crash into silence. What matters is that you don't let their noise stir your soul. Keep your spirit anchored. Your calmness becomes a mirror. It shows them what maturity looks like. This calm, this grace under pressure, it's not given, it's earned. Earned through decades of hardship, patience, and unspoken pain. It's the reward of a life that gave more than it took. And in old age, that calm becomes your shield. Let them rage, let them ignore, let them forget. You stay still like the earth under their feet, silent but strong, invisible but unshakable. Because dignity, once held, cannot be taken. It is yours to guard. And no matter who tries to make you feel small, never forget, you were once their whole world. That truth can never be undone. Your value isn't measured by how others treat you, especially not your children when they lose their way. It's a bitter pill to swallow watching the very ones you molded with love, patience, and unrelenting sacrifice begin to treat you like you're no longer needed. As if your worth faded with time, as if your voice no longer matters in the home you once built with your bare hands. But hear this. You are not defined by their neglect, nor do their actions rewrite the chapters of your life where you are everything. You see, value is not a thing they can grant or take away. It is not a gift given by gratitude or snatched by forgetfulness. You are valuable because of who you are, what you've endured, and the life you've poured into others. When your children forget that, it speaks more of their journey than of yours. Sometimes the young lose their way, caught up in the noise of the world, believing they've outgrown the hands that raised them, but their confusion does not lessen your light. Your love, your time, your teachings, these are not erased because they go unrecognized. They live on in the way they speak, the way they walk, the choices they make, whether they see it or not. Your fingerprints are on their soul. They are written in your handwriting, even if they've stopped reading the story. And so do not let their disregard rewrite your identity. You are still the same person who stood between them and the world, who gave even when nothing was left to give. The world may change, their attitude may change, but your worth is eternal. You mattered then, you matter now, and you will continue to matter, whether they acknowledge it or not. Let their silence pass through you like wind through trees, shaking the leaves but never breaking the roots, because your value, dear heart, is rooted deep. It was never for them to define in the first place. Remember your sacrifices. They are carved into time, even if forgotten by those who benefited from them. There were nights when you didn't sleep so they could rest peacefully. Days when you skipped your own needs just to fulfill theirs, silently, without ever expecting praise. You swallowed your own dreams so they could chase theirs freely. You stitched your own wounds in silence so they'd never feel pain. And all of that, every quiet act of love, every hidden tear, every unspoken surrender, is etched into the fabric of your life like sacred scripture. Just because they don't speak of it doesn't mean it's vanished. Just because they don't say thank you doesn't mean the thanks wasn't owed. Time remembers even if they don't. The walls of your home, the worn soles of your shoes, the old recipes you cooked with care, all of it stands as proof. The world may move forward, children may grow bold, forgetting the hands that steadied their first steps, but those hands never forget. And your soul holds the ledger of every sacrifice with unwavering clarity. Sometimes they act as if it was all expected, as if the love you gave was just your duty, not your choice. But you know the truth. No one forced your sacrifices. You gave them because you loved, because you were strong enough to choose selflessness even when it hurt. That kind of love is not small. It is mighty. It is sacred. They may forget the times you sat by their bedside when they were sick, the days you stood in long lines to give them something they wanted, the times you denied yourself just to make them smile. But those moments are not lost. They are seeds planted deep. And even if they've grown too tall to see the roots, those roots still hold them up. So don't let their forgetfulness rob you of your memory. Your sacrifices are not diminished by their silence. They live on quietly, like the sun that shines whether anyone looks up or not. They are eternal offerings made from a heart that gave without limit, and no one, not even your children, can take that truth away from you. Old age is a badge of honor, not a burden. Carry it with pride, not pain. There's something sacred about a face lined with years, about hands that have held generations, about a back that may be bent, but only from carrying the weight of an entire family across decades. Society may whisper that old age is something to hide, something to shrink from, something to apologize for, but they are wrong. Your age is not a weakness. It is a testament. Every wrinkle is a word in the poem of your life. Every gray hair is a silver thread in the cloth of your story. You are not less because you have lived more. You are more, far more. You have walked through times they've only read about. You've seen life in its raw, unfiltered truth. You've built from nothing, healed from wounds without help, loved through loss, and survived days that would break the backs of the younger generation. That doesn't make you outdated. It makes you powerful. You are a living archive of wisdom, of experience, of strength they can't yet comprehend. And when they look at you with impatience or brush off your words like leaves in the wind, don't lower your eyes. Don't feel small. Let them learn that greatness isn't loud, that endurance isn't flashy. Real power is quiet. It doesn't need to prove itself. Your age carries a story they don't yet understand, but one day they will. One day they will crave the very wisdom they now ignore. So don't see yourself as a shadow fading from the scene. You are the roots beneath the tree, the foundation beneath the house, the fire that once warmed and still glows beneath the ashes. You are not a burden to be managed. You are a blessing to be cherished. And if they don't see that, it's not because you've become less. It's because they haven't grown enough to see how much more you truly are. Your silence can speak louder than arguments. It shows strength, not surrender. There comes a point when words no longer serve, when repeating yourself feels like shouting into an empty canyon. You could argue, plead, raise your voice, try to remind them of who you are and what you've done, but why should you? When a soul has lived long and deep, silence becomes its sharpest sword. Because silence, when worn by someone who's seen life from every angle, carries more weight than 1,000 speeches. You don't have to explain your worth to those who choose not to see it. You don't have to chase respect like a beggar looking for crumbs. You've earned your place in this world, carved it with your own hands. And if someone has grown blind to that truth, your silence becomes a mirror. Let them see their own reflection in your stillness. Silence doesn't mean you've given up. No, silence is dignity, choosing not to dance with disrespect. It is the wisdom of knowing that the more you respond to ignorance, the more you feed it. Silence is restraint, and restraint is power. It is the elder's way of teaching without preaching, of standing tall without shouting. When you hold your tongue in the face of rudeness or dismissal, it's not because you don't feel the sting. It's because you've mastered the art of not letting it control you. You've been through storms far fiercer than a few careless words. You fought battles that they can't even imagine. And now you've earned the right to choose peace over conflict, calm over chaos. So let them misunderstand. Let them think you're silent because you have nothing to say. The truth is, your silence is saying everything. It's telling them you won't lower yourself. It's reminding them that you don't need to win arguments to hold your ground. Your stillness speaks of patience, of grace, of someone who's already won the battles that truly mattered. True love doesn't fade, even if unreturned. Your role as a parent was sacred, and that doesn't change. You didn't become a parent because you expected praise or repayment. You didn't give your life, your time, your energy just to be celebrated. You gave because that's what love does. Love doesn't keep score. It doesn't wait for applause. It simply gives and gives and gives again, even when the world forgets to say thank you. And so even if the ones you raise now pass you by without a second glance, even if your phone stays silent and your door remains unopened, your love still lives, untouched, unshaken. A parent's love is the purest kind. It doesn't ask for anything in return. It simply hopes. It hopes they'll remember. It hopes they'll do better. But even when that hope grows tired, the love remains. You carried them through storms. You held them when they had nothing. You shaped their world with your bare hands. That role, the sacred, eternal role of a parent, that doesn't vanish just because they've grown distant. They might not see it now. They might not understand the depth of what you gave. The meals skipped so they could eat. The dreams shelved so theirs could fly. The countless moments where you put yourself last so they could be first. But none of that disappears just because it's no longer acknowledged. It happened, it mattered, and it shaped them, whether they admit it or not. Even when their love feels missing, your love stays full. It may hurt, that ache of being forgotten by those you gave everything to, but it doesn't erase what was real. And what's real is this. You love them with a heart that asks for nothing but their happiness. That kind of love is rare. That kind of love is holy. And no rejection, no silence, no disrespect can ever take that away from you. Your role as a parent isn't less sacred just because they've stopped calling you Ma or Baba with the same warmth. That title is written in the stars, in the blood that runs through their veins, in the heartbeat that first heard theirs. You don't need their validation to stand firm in your love, because love, real love, stays. Even when it stands alone, one day, those who ignore you may remember your calmness now plants the seeds for that awakening. There's something timeless about the truth. It doesn't rush. It doesn't scream to be heard. It just waits like the sun behind the clouds, steady and sure. And in this same way, your quiet presence, your unwavering patience, your refusal to return hurt for hurt, it leaves a mark, even if they don't see it yet. Even if right now your children are too caught up in their own lives, their own noise, to look back and truly see you, time has a way of revealing what was once ignored. People forget the roots when the tree is tall. They forget the ground that held them up when they were growing, the water that fed them, the shade that protected them. But the seasons change. Life has a rhythm that always, always circles back to the beginning. And one day, when the noise in their life quiets down, when they stumble, when they hurt, when they find themselves searching for the kind of love that doesn't change with time, they will think of you. They will remember the meals they never thanked you for, the times you stayed awake while they slept, the moments you held your tongue to keep peace in the home, the times you gave more than you had. It will hit them, not all at once, but piece by piece, in the quiet spaces of their lives. And when it does, it won't be your words that echo, it will be your silence. The way you stayed kind even when ignored, the way you stayed present even when pushed aside. Your calmness is not just survival, it's a lesson. It teaches without saying a word. It tells them that love isn't loud, that strength doesn't need to roar. And that realization, when it comes, will humble them. It will open their eyes to what they couldn't see before. That while they were busy forgetting, you never stopped being there. That while they turned away, you stood steady, anchored by love and grace. And that day, when the weight of your absence starts to feel heavier than your presence ever did, will come. Because truth, love, and dignity always rise to the surface no matter how long they've been buried. So hold your head high, not in pride, but in peace. Let your silence echo with the wisdom of years. Let your calm be your strength, and let your love remain unshaken, even if unreturned. You are not forgotten by time, nor by truth. And if their eyes are closed today, one day they will open, not to the noise of regret, but to the quiet power of everything you were, everything you gave, and everything you still are. You are the beginning of their story, the root of their rise, the quiet in their storm. So stay steady,